Hello and welcome to the Peak Millennials podcast. I'm your host,
And I'm Natalie.
Each week we will delve deep into various Peak Millennial topics, exploring what we remember and what we want to forget, and read some captivating stories that'll invoke a sense of deja vu in all of us. This is the age before iPhones and before social media we know today. This is where a good mix CD, silver eyeshadow, and MTV raised us. So crack open a Jones soda, kick off your black Converse, and let's teleport into the world of the Peak Millennials.
Hello.
I had to do it to him.
I love it. I love that though. It's gonna be like, send all inquiries to peakmillennialpod@gmail.com.
Yes, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because you don't want us to haunt you forever.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy day.
Wow.
Our little spooky music.
Look,
it makes me so happy.
Look at the decorations. Look at everything is spooktacular. What's 6 days, 5 days, 5 days until Halloween.
I'm very excited.
Happy
Do you get a lot of
Halloween.
trick-or-treaters at your house?
So we usually sign up if your unit is going to have candy.
Oh, that's nice.
I do the lazy thing.
Oh,
and I just put a little bag out there because my dogs
that's true,
are not a fan of
ring-a-ding-ding,
people. Exactly. So usually I'll just put that out there and have a day. Do y'all get?
I get it.
Lots of trick-or-treaters?
No, I have a 5-year-old, so we're out doing stuff. I have no clue. We're out there. We're doing stuff. I was like, should we get some candy this year maybe and like put it outside? And then I was like, we're not going to be home, so like no, I'm not going to.
So y'all trick or treat.
We trick or treat, yeah. Last year was absolutely disgusting because it was downpouring rain the entire time. All of her candies were practically soaked, so we had to, like, when we came home, Bella is here with us today too, spooking it up.
Spooky. She knew the theme, and
but she's very in love with the spot that I am sitting in, so she wants to like be in.
If y'all are listening on audio, be sure go to YouTube every once in a while, see the beautiful decorations. But there is a black cat on stream right now, which is it's a sign of peace and tranquility.
To be fair, her name is Bellatrix, so like she is very much.
Oh, I killed the first night, but I killed the minute.
Well, and her sister's name is Tonks, so like, which I know isn't canon. It's not right, but they don't look the same. So I was like, they're like cousins. Cat siblings are like cousins, anyways. So like, it is what it is. But to go back,
we need to do some. By the way, we need to do some sort of like seance or something because right now it says that rain is going to start at noon on Halloween.
Yeah, I think I'm just used to it, and I think that we'll just pack. Thankfully, like, we can just throw a rain jacket on and we'll be fine. But
yeah,
it's like M&Ms. M&Ms are just trash. If it's raining in Washington on Halloween, like they just go right in the garbage. But for the most part,
weatherproof those
It's
candies a little better.
it's terrible. I will say I brought something in just to show you if you're a Trader Joe's gal
Okay, yeah.
person, folk. Trader Joe's right now they're called Wicked Good. They probably can't see because it's backwards, but it's Trader Joe's versions of like a Milky Way, and they're in like they're in a bag of minis,
Okay.
and you get 4 different things, and they're like popular candy bars that we know, such as Snickers, Milky Way, Three Musketeers, and then some other one I don't know because it has like a wafer bar in the middle, and I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, we'll be out trick-or-treating, and it's a Friday. We're gonna go with some of our friends that all have kids that are the same age as my youngest, and yeah, we're hoping that it's not too terrible, but yeah. But even when we lived in apartments before the baby was born, like we didn't get a lot. Our apartment complex was really dark. They didn't have a lot of things going on. So,
I always want to be like that. Like everybody come to my house, but it's too much work and candy is too expensive. And we be living in trying times. The one year I bought a bunch of candy and I was like, I'm going to do it right. And it's going to be all the good candy. Nobody came to our house.
You're stuck with 19 pounds of candy.
And I'm stuck with like dots.
Smarties. What?
Already.
Okay, what is your Halloween candy choice?
Okay, that's a good question. I love a Kit Kat. If you give me a fun size Kit Kat, we are best friends. I'm a traditional Reese's cup. Give me one of those. Frozen, when they're frozen, is the best thing of my entire life. And I love a good Tootsie Roll. I don't know what it is. I love Tootsie Rolls. I've always loved Tootsie
like the vanilla
Rolls.
ones.
The vanilla ones are so good. And the green ones. I don't know.
Oh, the green ones are good too.
Green apple.
Yeah.
I love a Tootsie Roll.
I love a good vanilla Tootsie Roll.
Okay.
I like gummy candies. So like I don't like dots. Let me just like throw a hand up there. But but you give me like a Starburst,
yeah,
a gummy bear, Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
I grew up in a non-chocolate house.
What?
So, like my mom doesn't like chocolate, so we didn't really ever have chocolate in the house. Unless we were like baking for like holidays or making chocolate chip cookies, but like we just didn't eat a lot of chocolate. So like I don't really care for like a Hershey's bar or like Kisses. But I do.
Kisses are trash.
I love a Almond Joy.
So you're one of those freaks that actually likes the Almond Joy.
Yes. Okay. But don't give me like almonds by themselves. Like they need to have
it has to have chocolate and it has to have coconut.
Yeah. Yeah. If a Mounds Almond Joy, I love it. Anything else? Difference? No, thank you.
Mounds and Almond Joy.
Mounds is just chocolate and coconut, and an Almond Joy is has almond on it.
Okay,
so I think Mounds is also dark chocolate. I don't know. I'll fuck with both of them. I think they're fantastic. We did a little questionnaire on Instagram.
All right, and so we are jumping right in.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping. I was looking at it and I was like, we can talk about Halloween. We can talk about candy.
Let's plug the Instagram. If you are not following us on Instagram, follow us at Peak Millennials Pod. It is like I am constantly adding people all the time, requesting you. So if you see the Peak Millennials podcast in your follows feed, follow us back. please love us back, because guess what we were constantly doing? We're constantly posting little this or that, little polls, little things that y'all are actually participating in. I am so blown away and so shocked, because we got some really good responses. So Natalie, tell us about them.
Okay, so I am so thankful and so excited that we had some responses here, and this was in a response to our episode last week where we were talking about malls and Y2K fashions and things. So we had asked our listeners, our lovely listeners, what their favorite mall store used to be or is. And we got some really interesting answers. I thought that some of them are really cool. Things that I had forgotten about, specifically like Sam Goody. We have briefly talked about Sam Goody, but
Sam Goody.
Yes, Sam Goody to me was like, I always thought it was really cool because they had a really great they had such a good mix of stuff. Like they had music and movies and pop culture items before Hot Topic kind of took that weird turn. No hate. But we also had FYE and Radio Shack.
They were mentioned? FYE and Radio Shack?
They were. Fun fact, the only FYE that I've ever known or seen of is going to be turned into a Winco.
Oh.
Which will be fantastic because it's a giant Winco and it's right next to a Target. So, like, I'll be able to knock two things off my list on a weekly. Good Lord, I don't have that much. I'm spending money like that. Anyway. Sorry, Brian. So Claire's. Did you ever shop at like Claire's or Icing?
Okay, I still have shopped at Claire's, even though it's going out of, isn't it going out of business?
Is it?
I don't know. I went into it this last weekend because I went to the mall with my husband, and let me tell you, the sales associate was there with the general manager, and I was like, wow, like, because I'm looking for like costume jewelry for, you know, a specific costume that I'm gonna be tomorrow. I'm
excited.
And for one of my costumes, I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin, so I'm just looking for like a blinged out earring so I can look.
I love like that. Yes, I love that.
And she goes, oh, because I was mentioning our episodes and all that stuff, and she goes, oh, so you've been a manager. It sounds like you've been a manager at a retail location. I go, not really. And she goes, oh, well, we are hiring a store manager.
I have a job, thank you.
Assistant store manager. And I go, I'm curious, how much does the store manager make? It is not worth.
No.
It was like $24 an hour, which is still a lot, but that does not go far for $24 an hour.
I will tell you, no hate on any of our listeners that like work retail, because like bless your heart, I've been there. For the amount of like time that they want you to be there, retail workers are severely underpaid for what they expect you to do on a regular basis. A lot of retailers, and it's not a blanket statement, but in my experience, retail workers are severely underpaid for the amount of time and energy that these companies expect. Speaking of Claire's, though, I trekked home yesterday, and I was at our home mall.
Oh my gosh.
And my older daughter was meeting some friends, and so I dropped her off at the mall, and I actually looked at the Claire's that I used to work at. And I stomped around our old Barnes and Noble for a bit. I sent Collins a video. I was like, guess where I am.
Guess where I am. Oh my gosh.
So What else did we have? Oh, we have Brookstone. Have you ever been in a Brookstone?
No, I don't think I've ever heard of that store.
Okay, so not, I mean, like, it was technically anonymous, but whatever. It was my husband that used to go into Brookstone. And I was like, why would you say that? He was like, I could spend hours in that store. But
Hours.
Brookstone was the place that had like all of the electronics. So they had like the warming neck massager that you could like hold on your shoulder, or like different like tool things that you could use around your house, or like all these like random things. And he would
You
probably
could spend
still go.
hours there?
Well, I mean, like, again, this was the 2000s, so he was
Okay,
in
but
like his
is this
teens.
store no longer because of Amazon? Probably.
I don't know. They might. Let's look.
Brookstone. I've never heard of Brookstone.
Look. To be fair, I don't think I've ever actually. No, they don't. They don't have any locations.
This is different than
as
the
of 2018.
The Brooks shoes place,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Brookstone was like they basically, if you look them up, it's your one-stop destination for the very best new products in massage and personal care, home, travel, gifts, and more. So they just carried like random stuff
at Walmart from them.
Yes. And they, I mean, they closed down all of their retail, but it only primarily exists now in online, and then they're managed by Hudson Group. So you might see Brookstone products in like airports, you know, like Hudson News. But it was one of those stores, like, and not to sound ageist, so sorry if I do, but it was like a store that I feel like a lot of like older people would go into,
because those things are what they spend their money on.
Yeah, older people. This one
I want jewelry that turns my neck green, you know?
Yeah, I want jewelry that turns my neck green. This one was one that like spoke to me. Early 2000s Hot Topic. That one was really popular. That was the most.
The aesthetic of an early 2000s Hot Topic compared to now. I went into the current now and I was like, this is just tchotchke, like anime hour.
As an anime lover, I appreciate that they're there, but I want to walk into Hot Topic and I want it to be darker, dimly lit, and I want the music to be so loud that my ears kind of hurt.
And I want to be sexually confused by the cashiers that are at the Hot Topic, because why were they so hot?
They were always so, because they were alternative. They were so alty, and I loved it. I also really want, I don't think I want 2 headphones in today, by the way. I just changed my mind on that. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Today is not that day. But I feel like there was such a good balance between just that like emo goth vibe and then like pop culture. And now I feel like it's all pop culture. Very all pop culture and very small amount. And I understand that music was different then, but I loved going into a Hot Topic and they had like a giant Twilight display, or like a giant like Supernatural display. We watched that this weekend, by the way.
I'm going Wednesday to the 21 and over theater over in Montlake Terrace. Very excited. I'm going to wear my Twilight shirt to work, and I'm going to see if anybody says shit to me.
I wish I still had those things. I had like the fabric, like the purse, you know, like a little Twilight
Oh,
mag. Loved it so much. Okay, what else do we have? Barnes and Noble, Wet Seal.
I loved a Wet Seal legging.
Really?
Yeah. I loved everybody seeing my underwear. I love
No.
that they ripped after, like, 5 uses.
I
'Cause they
don't
were
think
like
I ever yeah. I
they
was a
were just like
Forever
4
21
bucks.
girly. I loved Forever 21. I loved
I
going in
loved
there. It was like a routine. I would go in
RIP.
yeah. Friday, I would go in on a Friday and I would buy when I got paid and I would buy a new shirt and then I would wear that like on Monday. Like Monday it would always be new shirt day. To school, not just in general. But I'd wear it to school. And when I got paid on Friday, I would go to Forever 21, buy a new shirt, and then wear it to school. Let's see. American Eagle, we touched that last week. Victoria's Secret, that was a really popular spot. I think during that time is when Victoria's Secret started branching off into like pink, and pink
Yes.
became really popular. A throwback was KB Toys. Did you ever go into a KB Toys
Oh, that KB I could spend hours in that KB Toys. I really could.
with like the piano on the floor? Beep, 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 beep,
Mhm.
beep. Let's see what else. Spencer's. Did you spend a lot of time in a Spencer's?
So here's the thing. My mom would never let me go to Spencer's. But if she didn't see the receipt or the bag, then my
Oh.
little incense I loved incense so
What is
much.
that? Nom. What is that called? Oh, what is it? The really popular smell.
Oh,
It's like
I
the
don't
most.
know.
I'll
I would just
remember.
buy whatever.
Incense.
And yeah, I would just buy whatever incense
I
and
just remember
I loved it.
having incense and then like being like, "Ugh." My throat would be all itchy. Old Navy was one that was on our list too, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I was like wondering, I was like, maybe it was like Old Navy, like power fleece, performance fleece,
I
performance fleece,
loved those
and
puffer
flip flops.
jackets, the $1 flip-flops.
Those $1 flip flops were my most favorite until they changed the material.
How can you change the material?
Okay, so the material used to be
Yeah.
it used to be can you tell that I've spent a lot of time in my life in retail? I'm like, they
Yeah.
changed the
I
material.
love it.
So it used to be a like true soft foam and it was a lot wider. It was a wider foot. So like as a
Oh,
wide foot girly, I was like, these are fantastic.
yeah.
And then they changed the way that they like made them or produced them into like a harder foam with like texture on it almost, and it was more narrow. So if you had a wide foot, you were fucked. Like you just couldn't wear these. But I have a feeling that they changed the material because after you wore them for a while, you hit like a wet spot.
Yeah.
You would
One of
take
my
a
friends
little
actually
poopy.
broke her foot because of that.
Damn.
So her foot went through the thong area,
Oh,
and the way that she fell, just right clean break right in the middle of her foot.
yikes.
So I
That's
stopped wearing
crazy.
flip-flops.
I stopped wearing flip flops when Old Navy changed the way that they made them because I was like, absolutely not. I will not wear these anymore. But yeah, that was our list. I thought it was really cool. It gave me a cool little throwback. And I was really happy. Thank you, listeners, for all of your responses.
Yes,
We'll
thank you
throw up
all.
another one of those here soon.
But great to go down memory lane. Loved all of that. But shall we get into this week's podcast topic? This week's podcast topic.
Yes.
I
Yes,
can't
please.
speak. So we put another little, hey, have you guys whatever. Do I have a voice? So I threw it
Yeah, a
out
little.
there. I threw it out there as a teen or child. What true crime case had you up at night? That's what we want to talk about since this is the Peak Millennials podcast. We talk about all things nostalgia. And I'm remembering a couple cases for me that still resonate with you and me. There were some that I had never heard of. Learning about my friends and family who responded is interesting. I had a friend who said, my great aunt was the first woman sentenced to the death penalty in Oregon.
I read that and I was like, holy Moses.
That
Holy
is
Moses.
insane.
And I was like,
but yeah,
know the whole
Janice
story.
Freeman is this person. I would love to dive deep into specific cases to go through. If that's something that you're interested in, please let us know in the comments. Hearing about my friend Anna said my Girl Scout co-leader murdered her infant son.
Oh
Like,
gosh.
that would keep me up at night. That
I
would
almost feel like
I would never trust an adult again.
never. I will say we probably should throw a little trigger warning up there for our listeners, because today we will be talking about murder and some triggering little topics. So if this is not for you, then we could see you next week.
Yeah, sorry about
that. No, it's really, I mean, it's totally fine. But yeah, we will probably be talking about some we'll be talking about some stuff. So trigger warning. But anyways, I would never, and that was one of my biggest fears, putting my child into like daycare or like childcare, was like, who are these people and who are watching them? And that's always, even now, I'm like, please.
Well, there was like a home daycare over in Alderwood that got shut down because they found out that they were drugging them with cough syrup so that they would.
Yeah. Oh, it was Benadryl.
Benadryl. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Benadryl.
And they were drugging them, and then one of the babies passed out and died.
Yeah, Benadryl is so terrible. Benadryl is one of those things that they're like, do not give your children Benadryl ever. And I'm just like, I won't give them anything.
Like, here's the thing. My mom used to give us Dimetab because we were all super colicky. So she would just administer it regularly.
Oh yeah.
So there's so many wonder. It's a baby pictures where we're just like zonked out.
It's a wonder sometimes you're like, how am I still alive with like the crazy shit that like it was totally fine. We just totally did it, and nothing ever nothing was really regulated like that. My younger sister always got bronchitis when she was younger, and I just remember my mom always gave her like basically Mucinex. Always. And just like and I was like, ooh, shouldn't do that. Should not do that to a baby.
That's so scary.
Yeah, it's so nuts. But yeah, we had some really great responses to our question. The most popular one out of all of the responses that we had was Lacey Peterson. So
I have to tell you,
how do you feel?
Okay, so this is why sometimes I forget that like trigger warnings exist, because I understand that murder and dying and death does trigger other people, because for me, it is just my hyperfixation. And I remember somebody on a podcast being like, we are in a generation of like people who are hyperfixated with like death and murder. And it's like, obviously, we've seen so many different death and murder things on our TV that we've been so desensitized to. And I have had it become some of my hyperfixations. Obviously, I was obsessed with the Titanic, and then I was obsessed with the O.J. Simpson trial when I was a child. And then this Lacey Peterson case happened, which, for those who don't know, Lacey Peterson was 8 months pregnant, married to a guy named Scott Peterson, and he murdered her on Christmas Eve in 2002. There is a documentary on Netflix that I just rewatched today because it is so good. I don't care about listening to his side of the story, unfortunately. But Scott Peterson reported his wife, his pregnant wife, missing from their home in Modesto, California. Rich white people. She was very loved, very beautiful. And the aftermath of trying to figure out where Lacey Peterson went afterwards didn't add up. And
Yep.
like the police afterwards were even interviewed and said, we were trying to get Scott off the hook, like somehow like find a loophole. Like he did polygraph tests and he passed. Like we were asking him so many questions that would help him be innocent, and things still didn't add up. And then it came out that he had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Named Amber
Yep.
Fry. And she didn't know that he was married until a few days before Lacey disappeared. To which he lied to her and said, my wife is already gone. My wife is dead. This is going to be the first holiday season without her. She loved Christmas, all these things. Not to mention that, like, he, knew about the disappearance. He later was convicted that he killed her and the unborn son.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he tried to flee the country. Like he made up having like a fishing license, like all these things that like didn't add up. And I remember it was 2004 when he was found guilty, because I feel like we all watched the trial. He went from being like a frumpy, like California guy to like all of a sudden he like cut a bunch of weight. He tanned. He dyed his hair blonde. And then he tried to flee the country. That's like
I feel like this was one of the biggest, I think one of the biggest trials secondary to like OJ Simpson that was like televised, because it was just so shocking to the country that like Lacey just disappeared. Sorry, I have to like readjust my stuff. That she had just disappeared because she had a very set routine. Her pregnancy, if I remember correctly, because I watched another documentary a bit ago about her, where she had a very set routine, because her pregnancy, they had been trying for a really long time to like have a baby, and she just couldn't get pregnant. And then she got pregnant and she was having a harder pregnancy, and so she was like walking a lot. She had a very set routine because of her pregnancy, is what I'm trying to say. And so when she strayed from that routine, it was weird. And it was weird for her family because she was super close with her parents. And she would like call them every day, and like she was really big in, like you had said, like really big into Christmas. And so they typically did like these pretty like into like family celebrations. And then she went missing, and like Scott played the part of like the very, oh my gosh, my wife is missing and my baby. And if I like, he went on like TV and was like, please help me find my wife and my baby and like all this stuff. And the moment that like the police started to investigate him is kind of when something changed in his mind, and he was like, oh shit, like I need to like try to play to this like American sweetheart husband who was like so lovely to his wife. And there was just like so many things that didn't add up, like his boat and going out on his boat in like the middle of the night and all of these things. Because to have taken like to have taken Lacey's wife, and the fact that it was a baby, like not
Right.
like what?
And like
It's so gross.
there were other things that I think is interesting, because it's like it has to take like a perfect mastermind of a crime to like figure out,
Mhm.
you know, how to basically forge an alibi. And he had forged an alibi. He got
Yes.
like a printed ticket of him going out fishing, but his neighbors had never seen him with a fishing boat. He had like a little office, and he had said that he had just bought some new equipment he was going to use for fishing, but all the fishing lures that he had purchased were still in the package. So like things weren't adding up. They had said that Lacey had left the house while he was out. The family dog was just running around
Yeah.
the neighborhood, so the neighbor put the dog in the backyard. But she was known to never leave without her purse, and her purse
Yeah.
was still at the home. Um, like the family was so distraught, and they really wanted help of, you know, they were doing all these search and, you know, rescue parties. They were having going door to door and putting up flyers. And the fact that Scott was so like detached, that was like
Mhm.
one thing that they kept saying on the documentary, is how detached he was. And he was calling Amber Fry from the candlelight vigil, pretending that he was in Paris,
Mhm.
which is why he couldn't go visit her, which is just, it's just living the double life. Like he could have just gotten divorced. Like nobody needed to die here. You know what I mean? And he quickly became a person of interest. And the affair was a tip to the police, because Amber Fry realized, oh, I am reading in the paper, because she lives
Yeah.
100 miles away. But
Yeah.
this news story had become so big that it was in her circle.
Yeah.
But they did find her body in the river, and they
Well,
it like the forensic stuff that I was reading, it was like how decomposed her body was like, it was
mhm.
so severely decomposed. Um
Well,
but
and sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the way that she died
Mhm.
was undetermined for so long, which is just so, because you have, on one hand, you have the husband who was like, I didn't do this, I was doing something else, blah blah blah, i was I was fishing, and come to find out that she is where he was supposedly fishing.
Well, and like I don't want to get too graphic into it because
Mm-hmm.
it's so terrible, but it's what's unfortunate is like it wasn't as if they, being they as in Lacey and her unborn son Connor, which is what
Mm-hmm.
they're going to name him, um they were not intact with each other at the time that
Right.
they were found. He was found separately by a couple that were just walking on the tidal flats.
That's
And
bleh.
she was found separately, and like she was missing her head, her internal organs were gone, like her she was, like you said, her body was bloated, like there was a lot of things that were really unfortunate.
Because they didn't find her
And
until April, and she was missing in December. So 4 months had passed.
mhm. Mind you, I will say that it's not as if Connor was taken from her body prior
Right.
to he, due to naturalness, he was, lack of a better word, expelled from her body due
Mm-hmm.
to decomposition, which is just also really sad because if I hadn't said like, or you hadn't said it,
Mm-hmm.
being 8 months pregnant, like he was practically ready to go. So I mean, like, and it was one of those things. This this trial, like the trial that they had for Scott, became like a media, and I don't want to be a media sensation in a positive way. It was a very negative thing because he essentially took on this new personality. And there were people that, like, for lack of a better word and lack of like common sense, in my opinion, there were women that like fangirled over Scott, and they were like,
Right.
he's
And weren't they
so
sending him like
attractive.
letters and every
Yeah.
ugh.
And I mean, like, I as a person, I don't I don't understand how people can lead a double life like that
Yeah.
when you have a family, when you have a spouse, and then you just so easily can just make. I know that it's easy to like talk to somebody and how to be like emotionally like involved with somebody like that. Um, but to go as to so far as to be like, I gotta get rid of this person, like I'm willing to, do that. Like that is not something that I can fathom. And so it's just really sad. And this whole situation was really sad because I think that if a conversation was had between the two of them in a way
Right.
of like, I am no longer involved in this relationship, I would like to separate, like she could still be around, you
Right.
know?
And the son Connor would have been born, and
Yeah.
they would have had a happy and beautiful life. What I do remember about this, because the trial itself was very publicized, I remember it was on TV every
Yes.
single day, going over everything of like, this has lack of evidence, or like, the hair in the boat doesn't add up because Lacey had visited the boat, or she had done this, or doesn't make any sense. But it really was the fact that he had an affair and he confessed on a wiretap.
I think that it's crazy. It's crazy to me that he, one, confessed that way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what a fool. I mean, not like a fool, like, oh gosh, so foolish, but
Yeah.
like that he confessed that way. But the fact that he confessed that way after doing a lie detector test and passed the lie detector test, like, whew.
It's crazy. And I also remember that there were like jurors, like a juror had to be removed because they had done their own research on the case. The jury foreman had to be removed. Like it was just chaotic. And I remember this is where, like, I mean, 2004, yes, we're in high school, but it's still of the nature that my knowledge and understanding of trial and court was so, like, this was like the first thing that I had kind of come forth of like, oh, I understand that, like, sure, there could be all this evidence like stacked up against you,
Mm-hmm.
but the jury really does have to convict you without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Like there can't be like maybe or anything. Like they're either convicted for first degree murder in this case and second degree murder without a shadow of a doubt, because that's how it is in the United States, of like, you can't convict someone for murder unless you know for certain that they killed them. And I mean, I won't bore you, but like the Karen Reed trial
Oh,
last year.
my
What
my my best friend she has been listening to the Karen Reed trial, and that is a mess.
Well, like the first Karen
Mess.
Reed trial was a mistrial because there were
Yep.
so many different, like, this charge and this charge and this charge, but
Mm-hmm.
would this one and this one be combined so she could be not guilty, not guilty, and guilty of
Yep.
the third degree, all the things. And because the judge was like over it, she
Yeah.
just considered it a mistrial.
Yeah.
And guess what? Second trial, she was considered not guilty.
Yep.
Not guilty because without a shadow of a doubt could not prove that she had murdered her um, her fiance. I can't remember what it was, but anyways, it's all the things of like this for me, format like in my young eyes. What
Mm-hmm.
is it? A formidable for?
Yeah, you're formidable years.
Yes. So like this
Formidable
was like the
years.
first thing that I had ever really seen how a court was set up. I was old enough to like understand, study it, study the process, study the
Yeah.
law, why California is so different than Washington state, like different judge and areas of different states. And I loved watching trial. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was our most popular one. What was another uh notable one in our responses?
What was another one? We had, I mean, local to us was Green River Killer.
Oh, Gary
Gary
Ridgway.
Ridgway.
Oh, what a creep. Because
So,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. I've been
No, I was
talking
just
so
gonna
long.
give a little backstory on
Yeah, give
that
us a
for
little
anyone
backstory.
that isn't familiar. So Gary Ridgway is also known as the Green River Killer or the Green River Strangler. He was convicted of murdering 49 women between 1982 and 1988 in it's like northwestern United States, but essentially in Seattle.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
near the SeaTac airport, right? Is
yep, yep,
where
yep.
the Green River starts. So
Yeah.
airport.
So he essentially would lure sex workers or other women and then strangle them. And he was not caught for a very long time. Just wasn't.
And
So
what
go
I
ahead.
what I remember is he often went out after non-white
Mm-hmm.
people, but also troubled, down on their luck. So people already knew that they had run away from home, so they don't have their mind's eye on them. And when they're reporting these disappearance and all these things, well, maybe they just ran away. They're 18, they're 19, they're 20. Like they don't, that's the way the cookie
Yeah.
crumbles. They have no idea that they disappeared and they haven't heard from them because they were murdered and their
Yeah.
bodies were dumped near the Green River, which is why I call him the Green River Killer, because sometimes the bodies wouldn't be found for a long time.
He also, like, not to be, but he also really liked a little bit of necrophilia. Which is
That's gross.
really gross. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
There's
That sounds terrible.
there's plenty of people in this world and you can find your person. You just
With
need
a
to have a little
pulse.
patience. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or just, I mean, you could, it is 2025. You could just go to a store and find something that like works for you, if you catch my
Yeah.
drift. And you don't even need a person. But he also, like, one of the reasons why they say that he was able to get away with doing what he did for so long was down to like science.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the proper like ways to confirm the evidence that they found. Like there was a lot of uh issues with finding, they just weren't able to like link him back to the murders. They suspected, but there just wasn't enough evidence that they could in fact do anything. He was eventually arrested in 2001. He It's interesting to read it where it's like he was leaving the Kentworth truck factory and I was like, I live very close to that Kentworth truck factory.
So like
And I
because this
drive by that all the time.
I mean, because we lived not drive by all the time, but close enough that I remember my mom would tell me, "Do not go anywhere at night by yourself and alone and without leaving
Mhm.
a note of where you're going."
Yeah.
For the most part, I didn't listen. But it's the fact that, like,
yeah, I did. Anxious as
I'm sure.
hell, so like I didn't go anywhere by myself.
But from what I remember is that Gary Ridgway was only convicted on like 40 something 40, it says 48 counts and 49 counts
Mm-hmm.
of aggravated first degree murder. And he got a plea bargain where he would disclose the locations of still missing women. And there are still other bodies and women that disappeared around the same time in and around the same area that they cannot link to Gary Ridgway yet. And they probably never will.
You want to hear a crazy story? That's like a 7 degrees of separation thing.
Oh no, okay.
So, and I think it's Gary Ridgway because it's the most like, I think that it is. So like, sorry to my husband if I get this wrong. My husband grew up in Issaquah, so like that's really close to where we are.
Yeah.
And he said that one of the things that him and his friends used to do is drive down this road. I didn't grow up here, so I have no clue. But they would be like, oh, that's Gary Ridgway's house. That's the house that Gary Ridgway used to live in. Yeah.
Because so like I know that he was married a couple times, right? But I remember when he was being convicted in the early 2000s, right? His wife stood true to the fact that he didn't murder any of those people because she stood by his side for a very long time. But it is believed that Gary Ridgway is believed to have murdered at least 71 teenage girls and women, which that is so. It's like they were all sex workers or runaways or troubled youth, people that could not easily be located. And his fixation was on sex workers because of his love-hate relationship with his mom, who would often sunbathe nude. And he wanted to do things to his mom. This unresolved trauma. Men will avoid going to therapy. So, you know what I mean? Like, mental health services weren't really like a thing in the 80s.
Sir.
But like, I remember watching like a documentary about him that like, while he was being interviewed in jail, he linked everything and he said, yeah, this is when I started feeling all those feelings, is when I wanted to have sex with my mom.
Yuck.
What?
Yuck.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Nasty.
It's so
nasty.
gross. But
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine that. Like, as a mother, I'm like, please don't, please. No, no, absolutely not. He was married, so it's a crazy thing. So he was married 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And they only had the longest. Let's see. The longest marriage that he had was his last marriage to Judith Lynch, and they were married in 1988, and then they divorced in 2002. So his second marriage was to Marsha Brown, and they married in 1973, and they were divorced in 1981. So if he started like kidnapping and murdering in
82 is the first
82 body. So he was essentially like from the moment that he got his second divorce through his his second divorce and his third marriage, like he met that woman, was romancing her whilst he was still going around and snatching up ladies and doing stuff that is
And
just
just
insane.
vile things. And in here it says in 1984 he passed a polygraph test. Another motherfucker that passed the polygraph test.
It also
What?
says that he had, and this like obviously is not like a factor of his self, but he also had they said that he was held back because he is dyslexic and had a low IQ. Like his IQ was in like the low 80s, which, excuse me, I don't quite know like what that range is, but I imagine if they're saying it, low 80s is not good.
Yeah.
And that like someone should have known something, because when he was 16, he lured a 6-year-old to the woods
What?
and gave him a little stabbing. But thankfully that boy managed to live through the attack. Sorry, I managed to finish my he managed. But he managed to like survive that attack, thankfully. But like
that's terrifying though.
Right? Right? I couldn't
no.
I can't. So I mean, whilst I am not like, I don't condone any of this, like I really don't. I know that there are a lot of things that like science and profiling, especially like criminal profiling, that a lot of these like Gary Ridgway, Ted Bundy, like a lot of these very, very demented serial killers, like they have provided a lot of education to nowadays. But let's see. Yeah, he was a pretty rough one. And so it's always really interesting that I live in an area where like I'll be driving somewhere and I'm like, oh, Green River. And then I'm like, Green River Killer. And that's something I think of.
It is something that we think about, but I feel like I think about that often when I have to walk anywhere by myself, of being vigilant, stay alert, keep your keys in between your fingies, have pepper spray, whatever, a taser, whatever you need to do, and learn self-defense if you can, because these creeps wanting to take people out. Speaking of creeps, though, there was another very famous, I guess, allegedly. We have to say allegedly, because a court
allegedly,
did
that's
find,
right. Yes.
a court did not find her guilty for the murder of her daughter, but that bitch Casey Anthony came up
Allegedly.
multiple threads over here, because it does haunt me. It haunts me so much. Do you want me to?
You take it away. I have a hot take about her though, and I just
Oh God!
Please go ahead, and then we will chat.
All right. Well, Casey Anthony had a daughter named Kaylee. Okay. To which Kaylee was missing for over a month. And she didn't feel like, the mother did not feel like reporting that her daughter was missing. Okay. So this is 2008 in Orlando, Florida. I 30 days until she called the police to let them know that she had not seen her daughter, and she kept saying she was with the nanny. Okay. Casey Anthony left a very interesting life would lie to people about all the things about her life, said that she had a job at one of the, is it Warner Brothers Studios or no? Orlando something.
Oh, Universal.
Universal, thank you. I was trying to think of what was down there.
Universal.
But said that she had a job there. When the cops went to interview her, guess what?
No job.
She didn't work there. She didn't have a job there. But in December 11th, 2008, the daughter Kaylee was found in a blanket inside a laundry bag in a wooded area near the family residence. Investigative reports and trial testimony varied between duct tape being found on the mouth of this sweet little baby, and the cause of death was homicide by undetermined means. And somehow this bitch went not guilty.
Not guilty.
This is also the thing about like court trials that is so interesting to me, because like, yes, you have to prove without a shadow of a doubt. Like her car had a very disgusting smell. And her mother was constantly like, constantly like, where is she? Where's your daughter? Where's all these things? Why does your car smell bad? Like all these things. And Casey was just like, could not be bothered.
No.
Hungover, hanging out at her boyfriend's house.
And she, to this day, like, if there was a person that committed to a bit, she would win the fucking medal. She is committed to this.
It's just so crazy that it took her 30 big days to report her even missing. And then on the 911 call, she was like, oh, she's with the nanny. She's with the babysitter. And she gave a fake name to a babysitter who, when they went to interview this person, she was like, oh, I interviewed for the job, but I don't work for her.
So Kaylee was only 3 years old, right? 3 or 4 years old. As the resident, like mother of a small child, to a 3-year-old, you should know where your child is at every moment of that. And like, that's something that like, and this is, I don't need to go like into this like very deeply, but as a person who like struggled with some undetermined infertility for a really long time, some parents piss me the hell right off. Because in this situation, like, one, she didn't notify anybody that her child was missing for 30 days. If I don't know where she is for 30 minutes, I'm panicking. Less than that, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, I need to know where she is or who she's with. There are so many holes and gaps in this story based on Casey's behavior, her mother's behavior, her father's behavior, like Casey and Casey's mother and father. There is so many things that just created so many weird holes and gaps. There was like,
because in the trial, so there's three different cause of deaths, which were all disputed. So the medical examiner saying that it was an unsolved child homicide by undetermined means. They have no idea how she passed away. Again, she was last reported seen June of 2008. Her body was not found until December 2008 in Florida. Which, like, if she was just found in the woods, in my opinion, aren't there just like gators and all the kinds of different... I feel like she was moved. Anyways, She was constantly moved. So the second one is murder by administering chloroform and duct taping the nose and mouth, which is what the prosecution thought. And what the defense said is that she accidentally drowned.
Yeah, that was the one that was like the biggest one, is that she accidentally drowned. And I mean, like, I
If
don't
she
know.
accidentally drowned, why did it take 30 days?
Well, yeah, why wouldn't you, like, if it was truly an accident, and this is my firm belief, like, if there's a situation that is truly an accident, you call the police.
Immediately. Yeah.
Immediately you call 911 and you're like, oh my gosh, I accidentally didn't close. Like, there are accidents that, I mean, I don't want to be like accidents happen, but like accidents happen all of the time, especially around pools. Pools are dangerous as hell. Like, if you have children, go get them some swimming lessons, because that shit is scary. But like, accidents happen, and that's why we have law enforcement. Like, are you afraid that they're going to be like, you're the reason? Like, well, you kind of are the reason, because you should have been more proactive. But like, accidents do happen. And so the fact that like they didn't find her for so long, and they couldn't because it took so long, they couldn't determine what her actual like death was or how it was, is just so unfortunate. And then to the fact that like even now, like, they're like, we have no idea what happened. Like, that's one of the most unfortunate things for that poor baby, because like anything, children don't ask to be born. Like, if you didn't want to have this child, but you didn't want to have an abortion, like, give that child up for adoption. There are so many people that would take a child that, you know, unfortunately can't have their own. There's just so many things that you could do.
And from what I know, the grandparents were heavily involved in her life.
Yes, her grandparents primarily were taking care of her, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Casey Anthony was like going around partying, having a good time, doing stuff, like, and to this day, I think what Casey Anthony now is like works in like family health,
which is insane.
which is
She makes her little TikTok videos now. But yeah, it's the entire investigation process was so crazy, with the dead ends of the nanny to the dead ends of her job at Universal Studios, which was her alibi. It, like, in this article, it says that Casey led detectives into the building before admitting that she no longer worked there. And as it turned out, she had not worked there since she had taken maternity leave almost 3 years prior. Then Casey was arrested. She was offered a limited immunity deal in exchange for helping to find Kaylee. Prosecutors said that they would not use Casey's statements to the police against her. The offer expired. Which is like, it's crazy, because the entire time she's delusional beyond delusion of, I didn't do this, I didn't do it, none of this I did, I'm not gonna. And then didn't she come out and say, well, my father molested me, so my father did this, and now I'm pointing the finger at my dad. Insane.
It's just so sad to me that
and the media coverage, it was like OJ Simpson murder trial all over again. It was like the Lacey Peterson trial all over again. I don't think that you could go anywhere without seeing something about Casey Anthony. She was on Nancy Grace, Geraldo Rivera, America's Most Wanted, Dateline 2020. Like, it was a national obsession to the nth degree. And we will never know what happened.
Well, and what's really crazy is that they had a whole team that like went in to like volunteer to search for Kaylee. And one of the things that kind of spiraled in this case that became kind of like a thing was that there was a volunteer whose name was Crystal Holloway, and she was having an affair with George, who is Casey's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, hold on, let me go back to where I was at. So she was having an affair with George, and according to her, George said that Kaylee's death was an accident that snowballed out of control. And then when she was cross-examined, prosecutors pointed out that Holloway's sworn police statement, in which she said that George believed rather than knew it was an accident. And then
That
when
is
she was
insane.
right. And so then when she was like redirectly examined, or examination, she was asked if George had told her that Kaylee was dead, while stating publicly that she was missing, to which she replied yes. So, and
That's crazy.
like he denied, he denied in his testimony that he had an affair with her and said that he only visited her because she was ill. But like, roll my eyes at that. I believe none of that. But he then, like, it was not, and because there wasn't like proof, it couldn't really, go very far.
I do want to say, because of this, we do have a law that's Kaylee's law,
Yep.
that was imposed, imposing stricter requirements on parents to notify law enforcement of the death or disappearance of a child. So it is a shame that because of this situation, and because the verdict of not guilty made such an uproar with the public, that there was a law that needed to be put in place, which rightfully so. There were like so many different memorials and tributes to this little baby, and I really do hope that because of all of this, that children are protected in this sort of way.
Yeah. But one crazy fact about this whole situation, especially knowing that they still have not determined her cause of death, or really found anyone guilty for that matter. This trial, by the time it was completely finished, there was over 400 pieces of evidence that had been presented. They had 47 witnesses for 63 different testimonies. They had called, let's see, though that was the defense. The defense called 47 witnesses and 63 different testimonies, and the prosecution had called 59 witnesses for 70 different testimonies. So that's so much to still be at I don't know. We
That's
have
crazy.
nothing for you. And
crazy.
This is literally just the tip of the iceberg for this for us, because like we could probably go on for a lot longer when it comes to.
I mean, these were definitely our top 3 that we kept repeatedly seeing. I mean, I also want to mention the Natalee Holloway case, but that is the disappearance of an 18-year-old American high school graduate who disappeared in Aruba. She was declared dead. They never found her body. That was a common one. You had mentioned Chandra Levy.
Yep. She was an American intern at for the Federal Bureau of Prisons in DC. And she disappeared in 2001. And then her remains, or skeletal remains, were found in Rock Creek Park so she went missing in 2001 and she was found in 2002. That was a cold case for a really long time. That was a case where media kind of jumped to some conclusions because she was involved with a politician at the time and a congressman, to be exact. And it kind of blew out of control. A lot of these, what I find to be really interesting, and I don't want to like shadow her situation because that was a situation that was really unfortunate. But a lot of these a lot of these topics were highlighted in popular television for the time. So we had like Criminal Minds have covered a lot of related topics to these.
SVU,
Bones did an
CSI.
episode that was very heavily related to Chandra Levy, to be very honest. And it's one of those things where these topics are so in depth, and we could probably spend other episodes going over, and maybe we can in the future, is take a topic and dive real deep into it. But yeah, it's just so unfortunate that these are things that we experience. And I agree. I think that we really should be taking better care of I guess I just feel a little soapboxy when it comes to like children, knowing that I guess all three had some means for children. But we really should be able to protect our women, protect our people, protect our children.
We really do need to protect the ones around us, especially in our community that are the most vulnerable: elderly,
ones.
Children, women, people of color, people
trans
part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Yep.
We really need, and the disabled community. I know that there are so many people that want advocacy for that as well, because a lot of disabilities are not visible. So we really do need to be protecting those around us. So I like talking about true crime stuff. I like that this is like a very niche little set that we've gone through, but these are the cases and the true crime stories that we wanted to bring to you guys because they are nostalgia to kind of talk about. But if there's anything that you want to talk about in the future, please send us an email over at peakmillennialspod@gmail.com. It's getting a little spooky over there because it's a little haunted because we don't have any responses, but I love that you guys are responding on social media. It means that our audience is on socials and not on traditional email, which is kind of funny.
You know what? Slide into our DMs. We're in there too.
I've been getting some slippity sliders over there going, I really want to share some of these stories, but I'm a little scared. And just share them. Just send them there. Send them anywhere that we are. Even on our personal pages, go follow us, like, share, subscribe in the comment section, or send us an email, whatever. We want to give you all the different avenues. And maybe one day we'll put a Google Doc. Make it anonymous if you want.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, slide right on into our DMs. Someone had commented on Instagram that they grew up in a haunted house. Like, I want to hear that story.
I want to hear that story. So send those stories into us.
I would love to hear that. You can be. I would love to. Sorry, excuse me. My cat's very into my.
I love it.
Space right now. But I mean, like, I would love to hear a story like that. I truly, truly believe that there are, I think that we live in a world where spirits do exist, and you gotta be kind to those around you, living and of not the living. So I think that would be really great. I would love to hear some more stories. We'll probably put up a little poll on Instagram for there. Anyways, we'll put up some polls. If there's anything that we didn't cover that you would love to hear, just share it on over.
Yeah, share it on over. And I do want to shout
out. My girl is here. Luke.
Oh my goodness. She's so cute. I do want to shout out Panda Beats. That's where this cute little spooky mix is from. Panda Beats with the no copyright music. Why choose Panda Beats? Because they are DMCA compliant, and they make some premium quality lo-fi beats. So if you want to go find them, you can. We love to support people who reach out to us and they go, hey, do you want some spooky tunes? So love it. Love that for us.
I love it.
Isn't that fun?
I love
Yay. But tell us where we can find you before we leave.
You can find me on Instagram and on TikTok at Natalie Christina. I have been posting mostly some like small garden / cooking / everyday stuff. Yeah, I'm mostly just posting on Instagram right now because my 2 brain cells are just about tapped. What about you? Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me anywhere there is social media _queer auntie. Over at Substack, I'm posting again today. So go over to Substack, find me on Instagram, find me on the X. Over at Blue Sky, I'm just queer auntie. So if you are on Blue Sky and you want to skedazzle, I don't know what it's called, but we're hanging out over there as well. But thank you guys so much for a great episode. Thank you guys so much for showing up. We love you and happy Halloween. Bye.
Ooh, it's so spooky.